Alright, and so welcome back. Skinwalker Hidden Valley Ranch here, or you can call me SP, I don't care. Old channel name. And today I've got kind of an interesting video. I wanted to bring up the pros and cons of a bullpup. So basically, why would you want a bullpup? What roles would it be good for? Compared to a standard conventional rifle and standard conventional configuration, where the magazine is in front of the firing grip and the trigger group is normal and close together, instead of having a long transfer bar of some sort. So, for one, you can kind of tell the benefit is that both these guns have approximately the same length barrel. There's probably a slight difference in like a ½ inch or less. Doesn't really concern me. But if you can tell, the Steyr AUG or AUG, whatever you want to say, its barrel basically ends, especially without the flash hider, it ends at where the handguard retainer is on the AK. I should go get an AR out so I can show you guys where it is in comparison to an AR. But even if you can collapse a M4 stock all the way down, this gun is still about 5 to 6 inches shorter than that, while keeping a full-length barrel, which is very impressive. I got rid of it because it had problems with magazine reliability, but I used to have a Strebog little carbine from Grand Power, and it was a cool little fun little gun back in the days when braces were a thing, but it was very unreliable with magazines, the standard factory Strebog mags. Basically, you look at them wrong, they would crack. But anyways, back to the gun. The AUG is about the same length as that was, which is very impressive because that was an 8-inch barreled 9mm subgun sized gun, and the AUG might be just a slightly longer, but either way, it's very impressive. Basically, another benefit is because the action is way in the back, you can rest this on your shoulder in kind of a one-handed ready position for quite a while. Whereas with something that's standardly set up, like the AK, for example, you'll notice it's kind of hard if I wanted to keep this, like, let's say, on level. You can ignore my shitty beat-up wall over there. It was, this one's like pretty hard to deal with, basically. But yeah, with the AUG, it's incredibly easy, basically, to keep this one-handed pointed in a direction. So yeah, you could keep this at ready way longer. The AUG is not a lightweight gun, unfortunately. You'd think it would be, being as plastic as it is, but it's got a lot of metal inside the stock that's hidden. The bolt carrier and piston system, it is a short stroke Tokarev style piston system. However, it is very much ruggedized, and the bolt carrier, how big and chunky it is, reminds me a lot of an AK bolt carrier, which is one of the reasons I like the AUG so much, and I think it's a very reliable system, is the chunkiness and momentum its bolt carrier gets when cycling. It's also probably why it violently ejects so much, but that's a huge benefit, and I can see why militaries that are heavily mechanized or heavily urbanized would want a short, compact, submachine gun-sized rifle with a full-length barrel. It just makes a lot of sense for those countries. Now, I will say a downside is, of course, the trigger is not near as good. Like, this is just a standard Arsenal trigger that's in the SAM 7, and it's a good bit better than the AUG's trigger, and it's pretty mediocre. It's about like a mil-spec AR trigger. This is a little bit worse than a mil-spec AR trigger. I think I've covered that. I think the internet exaggerates how bad bullpup triggers are. It's certainly not a good trigger, but it's not near the horror stories you hear on the internet. Honestly, I think Set Me and G3 triggers are worse, and they're a standard configuration rifle. It's really weird why H&K wanted such a horrible trigger in those guns. I don't know why, but love the G3s otherwise. Excellent guns, and Set Me's. But yeah, you get a short, and for my uses, I wanted a carbine that's big enough to kill coyotes and southern whitetail deer in an emergency or whatever, but still, small, like that 9mm semi-auto carbine I had. Same overall concept with a much more effective cartridge. And that's the whole reason I wanted a Bullpup. It was between this and the VHS. I don't really like the Tavor X95s. I've shot some of the pre-X95 Tavors. My biggest thing with them is they seem to not be very reliable in ice, mud, sand, or it's really weird. Like, you'd think coming from Israel, they'd be very reliable in sand. But from what I've seen, that gun is very much made for urban combat, and is not like Kalashnikov rugged. Like, if you're going to buy an IWI product, you would just be better off buying the Ace. That's an excellent rifle. I wished I had one. But back to it. I think the VHS is a good gun. It's got a lot of G36 influence, and I'm not the biggest G36 fan, despite loving H&K products usually. The G36 has a lot of unique problems. Basically, they tried to use a polymer receiver as the backbone of the system, and it just does not. I don't know. And, I've heard the VHS doesn't, but I don't know. It's very G36-ish. And I wanted something that was tested and tried, so I went with the AUG in the standard magazine configuration. But for my use as a ultra-short hunting carbine / Predator defense rifle / home defense rifle / whatever end of the world rifle, I think the Steyr AUG A3M1 has been excellent. I think Bullpups they're not for everyone. I think they're really the hidden niche that no one understands with them. Is these things should totally replace submachine guns. Honestly, like a 13.5-inch Bullpup, barreled Bullpup in like 300 blackout would be more effective than any friggin' submachine gun on the market, or SBR. It would be just a lights out concept. Like, there's no reason that submachine guns exist when Bullpups are a thing. In all honesty. And I love the AUG. I think it's a good rifle on its own, even if it wasn't a Bullpup. It's a very well designed, robust rifle. But yeah, and you can really see just how much length you save, even though these guns have the same barrel length, which is fascinating. But yeah, so you get a shorter overall length. You get, basically a more compact silhouette. You get the rear biased weight to where you can shoulder this thing forever. You get, basically you can tuck this thing in and run like it's a football. And you can't really do that with a standard rifle. You probably get better mobility with a Bullpup, just like with a submachine gun. A lot of the pros of like a MP5 apply to this gun, except for it's in a rifle caliber and much more useful because of that, in my opinion. And that's really where the Bullpup shines. That's what I use it for. I use it if for like a compact vehicle carbine. Of course, with the way things are, I would not advise leaving vehicles unattended or rifles unattended in a vehicle, especially if you have no way of securing them in the vehicle, especially expensive rifles. But yeah, for like having a good old time in the woods or whatever, this is excellent to have in your vehicle. But yeah, I would say that if compactness is a major concern and you want something that's in a rifle caliber like I don't know why you would ignore a bullpup. Like, even the Tavor might be right for you guys. Like, if you got to have AR mag compatibility. If I had to, like, pick the most Stanag friendly bullpup, it'd probably be the Tavor. Even though personally I just don't like it as much as the AUG. But yeah, bullpups exist for a reason. I don't think you see like a lot of militaries leaving them now, but it's usually the militaries that adopted awful bullpups like the FAMAS and the SA-80. Sorry, Frenchmen and Brits listening, but the FAMAS is a little bit better gun, but the SA-80 is a horrible rifle, and I don't feel bad saying that. It's not a good gun. The L85, whatever you want to call it. I know H&K like supposedly fixed it, but it's a bullpup that you absolutely cannot shoot left-handed because the charging handle will rip your teeth out. Really forward-thinking design with that one, Britain. The AUG may eject hard out the right side, but it won't kill you if you shoot it left-handed, where the SA-80 actually might. But yeah, there is a reason bullpups exist, and they're worthwhile. And I suggest if you have never shot one, try to either rent one at a range or get a buddies to shoot. They're very neat guns. The downsides being the trigger, the weirdness of like aftermarket parts, the weirdness of rail mounting on some of them. If you can get over that, though, they're excellent. And I certainly love the AUG and will never be getting rid of it. Unless something catastrophic happens with it. You never know. But even then, I'd probably just replace it with another AUG because I love the platform at this point. But yeah, I've gone on long enough. I want to do some shooting footage. I'm waiting until I get my first paycheck coming in, and then I will be buying a lot of ammunition, and we'll do some range videos. I'd like to do some hunting videos to really add to the more outdoor content on this channel, and luckily deer season's coming up in like a couple of months, so hopefully I'll get some content for that. But yeah, I'd appreciate it if you guys subscribed or looked at my Patreon or my friends' channels and Patreons. Go check out the rest of our content. We do a lot of paranormal good old boy stuff, so yeah, look into that if you're interested. But this has been SP for Skinwalker Hidden Valley Ranch, and get a bullpup if you have overall length concerns. And that's the end of the video.